get on Thacker, I think you've been on the channel for a bit, then you'll know one of my favorite film directors is Gore Verbinski. He's directed some of my favorite films, those being the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. But there is a Verbinski film released after Pirates, which I actually like more. It's actually my 12th favorite film of all time, 2011's Rango. So in celebration of its 15th year anniversary, I thought we'd take a look back on Rango. Produced by Nickelodeon, distributed by Paramount, directed by Gore Verbinski, written by John Langan, starring Johnny Depp, Elsa Fisher, Ned Beatty, and Bill Nye, just to name a few. Rango began inception in 2003, shortly before the release of Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. It was originally planned for development to start after the Black Pearl's release, but was delayed until after the release of the third Pirates film at World's End in 2007. Rango would do very well critically. It would make $246 million, a budget of $135 million, and was overall considered a financial success, and would even leave Paramount starting their own animation studio. Also won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. I was probably around 3 to 4 when I first saw Rango, and since then it's become one of my favorite films. The one thing I always commend this film for is for not being a kid's film just because it's animated. This is a film that truly understands that animation is not a genre, it's a medium. I can't express how much of a not kids film this is. This is straight up just a normal film that happens to be animated. This one has smoking, cussing, drinking, murder. I love every second of it. And I appreciate how seriously it takes itself at points. The developments these characters go through, especially Rango himself, are really well done. Speaking of which, I love being a character who doesn't know who he is and tries to find himself. In doing this, does that, but also finds the casualties that come with it, but learns to overcome and adapt. Rango is a very easily compelling character since he is so relatable. Such a simple but great design. I can say that for the entire film. Its design look is very unique. And of course he has that Johnny Depp charisma. It has an actually funny burp joke. The rest of the characters are also really likable. Whether those be just for comic relief or little background filler, they're all really memorable. I feel like all these characters at least look potentially interesting enough to have their own stories. This also has great villains. The mayor voiced by Ned Beatty, which, yes, the previous year voiced Lotso in Toy Story 3. He's a nice, not too over-the-top villain. And of course we have the film's wonderfully over-the-top villain, Rattlesnake Jake. Ooh, his design is wonderful. A rattlesnake with a literal gun as a rattle voiced by Davy Jones with the Eye of Sauron. God, I love it. And yeah, with Gore Verbinski, Johnny Depp, Bill Nye, and composer Hans Zimmer, this is pretty much a mini Pirates reunion. Speaking of Hans Zimmer, man, this film's soundtrack is great. It really does feel like the soundtrack of the Pirates films with a Western accent. Sometimes very much so. This film's animation also still looks great. The environments in particular still look as good as anything put on screen today. For 2011, this was probably the most realistic animated looking movie ever. And I would still probably say it's definitely up there still. This was also made with something that I don't think has really been done too much after this film, emotion capture. Different from performance capture, as that's taking the actor's performance and putting a layer of CGI over it. Emotion capture is having the actors act out the film, and then that footage and used as reference for the animators to be able to animate the movements and the expressions of the characters better. And while yes, I think this is 100% necessary, I do think this probably does help some of the actors' performances, with actually having someone to act off with. I'm sure having reference for the animators was only a good thing. So I think depending on the film, I wouldn't mind seeing this used again. This also has to be at least in the top 10 weirdest animated films. I love weird and this has plenty of it. But I also appreciate it doesn't ever get too weird. It rides that line just enough. This is also a legitimately good spaghetti western, with some influences of things like Pirates and Mad Max. I do kinda wish the world was a bit more unique. Except for a few exceptions, the world of these animals just looks like our world sized down. It would be neat to have something a bit more unique, with the animals taking things from the outside world and reinventing them for their own use. There are a few instances of that, but we'd like more. But that's just a small nitpick. And the lie reveals story cliche. This has been done a whole lot over the years. It's usually more miss rather than hit. But this is definitely one of the better times I've seen it done. What happens in the third act? This overstay is welcome, but stays just long enough for it to be effective. Overall, I love Rango. It's a really good film, one of my favorites. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. But leave in the comments below, what do you think about Rango? Also, if you enjoyed this video, just like and subscribing. Bye guys for now, bye-bye, Thacker.